Welcome, brothers. Welcome, sisters. Welcome to our program On Target. Our brothers and sisters in the diaspora and any part of the world you hear in our program, welcome. We on We Noise FM 94.9 in Brooklyn, New York, 91.9 and 91.5 Real FM in Grenada. You have the opportunity to subscribe to our program, like our program, and share the program. And you can participate. Once we start the program, once 12 o'clock, the clock struck 12, you can pick up the telephone and give us a call. The number to call is 4420175. We'll even read your post. You can make your contribution. You can interrupt us at any time. What you have to say is more important for this program. Today it seems we cannot escape conflicts. The world seems to be in a fighting mood. Iran and Iraq, Iran and Israel seems to be in a full-blown war while the world watch. Because now they have their cameras, so when they struck a building, immediately in time you can see it on the airways. Everybody can witness that war on phone. Massive destruction. Millions of people would die. I wouldn't be surprised if the death toll have reached hundreds of thousands. Because even if most of the buildings you have bunkers where people can, when the siren ring out, you can race downstairs, and there are areas where you should get some temporary protection. But the scale of the conflict would overwhelm all emergency facilities. Israel have system to shoot down studs or to shoot down missiles. But the scale, drones, missile, studs, and other fake gadgets that they send around will overwhelm whatever system you have. It is a massive scale. Perhaps this is the most massive war since World War II. The time, so much of destruction in a short space of time. Why are they fighting? That's an old conflict. These people have conflict thousands of years. But it seems that Israel believes that Iran is close to making a nuclear weapon. And Iran pledged to wipe Israel out of the map. They have made a statement publicly every time they get an opportunity. One of the objectives is to wipe the state of Israel out. Israel decide that they're going to take a preemptive strike to try to destroy or delay Iran nuclear capabilities. And the war has escalated. We don't have enough voices in the world asking for a ceasefire. It seems the rest of the world is fatigued and decide, let them kill one another and we'll deal with what remains. In the 1967 war, most of the countries surrounding Israel was Islamic countries. And after that 1967 war, Israel made peace with Egypt and Jordan. Some of the other countries, including Iran and Syria, decide they don't want to make any peace with Israel. They don't recognize their right to exist. So it's a challenge. There are a number of European countries that some favor the Muslim countries and some favor Israel. There are a lot of individuals in Grenada, and we particularly encourage you to call and express your views and opinion on this issue, because there were some people in Grenada who want the Jews wiped out of the face of the earth too. They don't want the Jews. They support the Muslims. And the Quran also disallow agreement between Muslims and Jews and infidels. So it's a very difficult, it's an impasse that is very difficult to handle. That conflict there. Closer to the Caribbean, we have Venezuela and Guyana on another issue for land. And more recently, we saw the aggressiveness of Pamela in Trinidad as she speak about Venezuela. I thought her tone was confrontational and not necessary. And I think she should cool down. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, my brother.
Yeah. Mr. Pierre, the Bible says that the love of money is a root to all evil. Right? And Mr. Pierre, you have 2 children. Out of 2 children, one of them has weakness for money. Right? You are a business person. You're working hard to generate money. But you want to see your children go forward in life. But that one that has weakness with money, when you pump money into his business, you hear all kind of allegation about corruption. You will, right? You will continue to generate more money to that person, to your son, or give it to the one that could manage your money. And when you give him money, that he's able to show you what where the money going. And so I drew a reference with the minister of MIT. So many corruption you hear that you hear he doing. And you have a ministry of housing with burial. Any bill back bed is supposed to go under that ministry to help build back. But what you find happen, the Prime Minister is pump more money under that ministry to help build back. And you heard all kind of allegations. Some of the allegations you could see it is clear to see. But the Prime Minister continues to give that person money. Right? So I have to say to people, many times you might feel people like you. But then if a man like you, Mr. Pierre, and he know that you're doing that, you have to stop giving money. Or call him in, put his seat down and talk to him. And if you continue to pump money there, either you want to see the downfall of the person that you're pretending to like. But see the problem themselves, the person now that you're giving them, they can't see that what you're doing to them. What they are seeing is the love of money. More money they had, so more corruption they involved in. I'm just I always say the truth will stand the test of time. But there's nothing you could do to change the truth from false. And there's nothing you could do to change the false to the truth. So have a blessed after.
Well, I don't necessarily agree with your reference, but one of the things we have to understand that the Prime Minister of Grenada, Deacon Mitchell, perhaps is the most corrupt leader that we have ever had. He tells more lies than all other leaders put together. The Prime Minister, very early, he is setting the example. It's sad and it's unfortunate that the other ministers are playing true to form. But the Prime Minister of Grenada set the example. The Prime Minister said he paid money for good relationship. He paid money for good relationship. The Prime Minister gave the impression that if you poor, you cannot be genuine and honest. The Prime Minister raised his salary by over 300%. in a very short space of time after taking government. So the Prime Minister is the most corrupt. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, how are you doing today, sir?
Great, man.
Wow, I'm here making some allegations there, man.
But you have to speak a little louder. I can't hear you.
I'm hearing that you're making some allegations.
No,
there.
I'm not making allegation. I'm saying the Prime Minister said that he paid the money for good relationship. And I said the Prime Minister raised his income by over 300% in a very short space of time after taking government. This is not allegation. This is empirically evidence. This is the truth.
Do you want to tell me what the Prime Minister done? Do you want me to tell you what the Prime Minister done?
I don't know. I'm struggling to hear you. I don't know if
I
it's...
said, do you want me to tell you what the Prime Minister done in a very short period of time?
I'm talking about the corruption.
$75 million paid out so people could feel happy.
Caller.
You have the increase. You're talking about the increase. Mr. You've been explaining, so let me tell you where I think that you're missing.
Caller, you challenge me. You say I was making allegation.
Yes, so, I am telling you now where I have other evidence in contradiction to what you
then
have said.
What?
And I'm presenting it to you in a very
caller, you want to go ahead with this conversation?
Well, I'm just
what you did.
Stating the truth. I'm telling you the truth.
Caller,
are you denying that what I'm saying is not the truth? I'm asking you if you're saying what I'm saying is not the truth.
When we are in the program, we have to be careful because I made a statement and you challenged me, and I responded back to you. You didn't acknowledge, and you're trying to sideline. I don't sidelining things. I said the Prime Minister of Grenada.
You want to make a general statement, and you want to make an individual statement.
You see, you took issue with what I said. You took issue with what I said.
As human beings, you know, as hosts, sometimes we get emotional and we state things that.
Yeah, and that is why it's so important.
And so that's why, as a listener, I'm here to redirect you and show you.
No, you're not redirecting.
You're
not redirecting me, man. I made a statement and you say I'm making allegation. So I point it out back. This is not allegation. I'm not saying anything that the Prime Minister didn't do. The Prime Minister raised his income. The office of the Prime Minister's income was raised by 300%. This is a fact. You don't challenge fact. This is the Prime Minister raised his income and the minister's income by 300%. The Prime Minister said he paid the money for good relationship. And that's all I said. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, caller, welcome.
What he coming with there with the 75 million? Deacon need that money in the treasury.
But it doesn't matter. That's a different issue. He's speaking about the pension issue.
The pension.
But if you want to speak about the pension issue, speak about it. But it's distraction tactics, you know.
Now, Deacon need the money there. Oh, where Deacon come out with pension and he paid? Yes, it's Kit Mitchell money he paid with.
Not Kit Mitchell money, government money.
Government money. Well, he needs today. He didn't go and look for it. So they need to stop that.
Yes, caller. Thank you. You see, we need to speak the truth. We need to stick with the truth. And there are some simple things you cannot challenge. The government of Grenada, the Prime Minister, raised the minister's income, cabinet minister's income, by over 300%. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
How are you, sir?
Great, man. Good.
Belated Happy Father's Day to you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Mr. Pierre, when you hear you come in a conversation, do you know people like to break you out from the conversation? Because they don't want to get the facts. They does not want to get the facts, you know. They know what the Prime Minister doing and they see what he's doing, but they don't admit it. So if the children come inside there and say, Mommy, XYZ, they don't know if the children lie, they're accepting the lie. I listen some people call in and say they see what the Prime Minister doing. I can't see what's going on in Grenada, you know, Mr. Pierre. I don't know if the people are then blind or they just side in wickedness, but I cannot see what was going on. People, look, if they have work or if they have money, the Syrian and them would have leave their business and go on to construction. Grenadian people, how they like to apple wickedness in this country, so I can't follow up that kind of thing and them, you know. I cannot see for Dr. Mitchell what was running this country here now. And I see this thing and I'm going on, I don't talk it. Not because I am an NMP. When King bad, say he bad. Don't apple wickedness, Mr. Pierre. When the king bad, say he bad. You don't get it work for the people. Just go down in Grenville today and see what's going on in Grenville Courthouse. Young people going up the damn steps. And what the people say, what your parents say, they can bail their children. You check it out? I mean, this is the thing, and then we have to look at, I see the government has so in progress, children getting scholarships. To go away. But I get this scholarship to do. And to do what? Mr. Pierre, time for Grenadians, we Grenadians people, do better than that.
Yeah.
Someone listen, the Prime Minister doing that and he don't doing nothing. He go live in the air and do things. Every day he's in the air. What thing he doing for him to do things? Mr. Pierre, have a blessing.
Yes, I always invite people to challenge me. And in addition to that, you could bring in new topics when you're speaking. But if you take issue with what I said, and you're trying to give the impression that I'm not speaking the truth, and I reiterated, and then you're trying to distract. It's not right. It's not good. There are some facts. The Prime Minister is the first time a leader come in government. I don't know if this thing happened anywhere else in the Caribbean. And immediately raised the income by 300%. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, good afternoon.
Yes, my God.
I'm calling in from the diaspora. I want to say something very carefully, and I want
You're a bit low.
I want every Grenadian man, woman, and child to listen to me very carefully. As it relates to the pension, I do not want to blame the New National Party. In a sense, I think they know that they had a plan to pay the pension, and they wanted to create what you call like a political hype in a sense too. And that is all well and good. They're in office and they wanted to make sure that they create an impact. That's the real word I should use there. They would have formed a committee, and the committee was really to come up with the way in which they were going to go about paying the pension to make it manageable based on the country's fiscal policy, and to make sure that they stay within regulations and everything. And they looked at everything in every corner. And when the Deacon Mitchell-led administration came into office, what they did was just follow on. They continue to say that government is a continuation, but they fail to give the thanks and the praise to the New National Party for initiating the committee and doing all the groundwork. The hard work was already in there, was already put in, all the consultation. The same consultant that was used by the New National Party, he even talked about using that same person. So what people and the persons in the diaspora, as well as the supporters, are used, the strategy they're using, they're so bent on manufacturing lies to the Grenadian public and fooling them. They need to stop that. They need to stop it. Because you know what? These are the things that are going to come back and haunt us as a people. Because so many people make the decision to vote for the National Democratic Congress thinking that they were the one. But they should have already known. If they research, we are not a researching type of people. We don't like to read. Perhaps it was in the newspaper. Probably I would say the New National Party did not do enough because they had so much going on. Remember, it was just after COVID and they're into the election cycle. But There must be praise. There must be praise where it has to be, given. As I say, give a man his flowers while he's alive. Give Dr. Mitchell and the New National Party their recognition because they were the one who initiated. They're the one who started it. They were the one who formed a committee to pay the pension. It's not that it wasn't going to be paid, but it had to be done in the right way. Point blank, I don't want to hear no members from the National Democratic Congress come back on a radio and embarrass Grenada again. It is very embarrassing when they know the facts and they continue to manufacture lies. It is very upsetting. Thank you.
Yes, I always believe that the NNP, these unions, and the NDC did not handle the pension issue properly, and civil association could have done better. So they did not provide the adequate information for our people, and it's going to come back to haunt all of us. Yes, caller, welcome.
Hi, good morning, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, sir.
You know, government is a continuum.
Well, I always hear this statement made conveniently.
Do you know there is something called political will? And
well, that again is relative.
There's something also called insight and vision. And if I have money and I need to give my children, and my children need shoes and they need to go to school, and I just bluntly refuse to give them and all the monies are there, what kind of a father would you call me?
Yes, caller?
Yeah, I'm asking you, what kind of a father would you call me if I have a lot of money and I just refuse?
But if you have a lot of money, you're not supposed to give it to make your children believe that because you're rich, they're richer. That's one of the problem we have in the country. You know. Some people, because they have discretionary income.
Mr. Pierre, you're a very intelligent man. Are you there?
Yeah, listen to you.
Don't run away from.
I'm not running away, but you see, based upon this statement you see.
But I'm stating that the monies are there. So if the monies are there in the coffers of the government, and you have folks who were there, all they had to do is pay it out. But we've heard that they're not paying it.
Caller, you use some caller.
And well, I'm calling to give my contribution. It's an open and not.
Well, you see, you asking me question. Make your contribution.
I am making the contribution, and while making it, I'm asking pertinent questions, and I'm giving clarification because we don't want to mislead. So be it green, yellow, pink, or white, we all should say things in a way that everybody could understand. So at the end of the day, we are not scoring political points. We are just speaking facts. Not so. Isn't it?
Go ahead, caller.
Right. So there we go. So the government comes to power after all that money is in the coffers of the government. You had an administration that did not want it to pay, and the former leader bluntly stated. Now you have people now in that same party who was part and parcel of that same movement, who never had a voice to even tell the former prime minister, hey, you know what, that's not the way to go. And now you have these same people in leadership positions. So it therefore means that you never had an insight, you never had a foundation, you never had people who you could say, okay, these people had the leadership quality to stand up and say, this is my party, and this is how we should do it, and so on. There is a difference between being rude and giving your opinion as to what you think is the right, and explaining it. It's not that you're trying to take over, but every person have a right to give their opinion. And hence the reason why the past leader could have said bluntly, they did not see anybody that fit to run the party. And all of a sudden, election are lost, and all of a sudden, people are fit now. So, I don't know who, if in the past they was not fit, you think they are capable and fit now because they never had that vision and so on to rule? I'm asking you questions.
So you're tying up a lot of points there. So, caller, you're asking me questions, listen to me now. Scholar, you asking me question, but you have to listen to me when you ask question. You tie up a lot of things. You come and talk about government is a continuum, political will. These things are relative statements. Government is a continuum. Government only saying that when it suits them. Political will, ability to pay, all these things is relative. A government could determine that I'm going to spend money on traveling rather than pay school fees. The government could say it is more important for us to give Andy 16 million to build houses after the hurricane burial, rather than putting under the Ministry of Housing. The government make this decision. So you jumping up, you make a whole lot of statements. And then you want to ask me question between the statements. Yes, you know. So that's the challenge you have. And when you ask me question, I might take the time from you. Yes, scholar, welcome. Yes, scholar, welcome. Okay. So these are the issues. You have a call on the line? Caller, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, my brother.
Yeah. Mr. Pierre, sometimes I just hear people a certain color just reverse that statement and say, fools make money and wise spend it. But it's the other way around. Wise men make money and fools spend it. Now, if you have a lot of money, right, and you have your children, you go tell the children, well, I have a lot of money, they squander it out, or you go to just squander it out on your kids. You go to teach them how to control money, how to manage it, how to spend it wisely, right? Dr. Mitchell, yes, he had a lot of money in the consolidated fund, $530 million. But when the pension comes, in fact, we have to understand, Dr. Mitchell first but started to pay pension with Miss Hamlin Armstrong. When she won the case with Mr. Tillman Thomas and them, Mr. Tillman Thomas didn't give her anything. It took Dr. Mitchell to start to give the people the pension and 57 others. And then in 2018, they signed a memorandum of understanding to go forward with the pension to have discussion. When did union decide to take the government to court with the gratuity pension issue? Dr. Mitchell said whatever decision the court make, they will pay it. But let me continue paying it out. How come? How come they're not telling us that they met 2,200 people already on the pension payroll? And then they add 525% on the pension payroll. How come they're not telling us about that? When you're educating people, educate us properly. Give jacket. So when you hear you talking about the pension payroll, Dr. Mitchell had plans, but he had plans to know how to go about paying it, to not to bankrupt the greater economy, to not to flatten the economy. So poor people could have something to go by. And the man at a point where he want to lift the poor people up, he didn't want to leave no one behind. Yeah, if the little crumbs would fall on the ground, he could take it up and give somebody. So everybody could have something to go by. But they all want all for themselves. You understand? And look right now, they squander all the money and Grenada is on a free fall. It might be difficult to get right back on track again. So when you come in and you're educating us, my brother, as much as I respect your statement, educate us properly. Thank you, Mr. P.
Yes, a lot of people did not understand the pension issue. And I have always chastised the main political parties and the union, because this pension issue have serious consequences for all governments. And because of that, it was necessary for the NNP to provide more information, more explanation on what they plan and what they intend to do. The unions could have also provided more information to the public. And the opposition should understand that and provide their version. What we have, we use the pension as a political football. And it's going to haunt us. This pension issue is going to haunt everybody. It's going to haunt the union too. That is where ability to pay comes in. Because ability to pay is relative. And based upon the history of government, anytime they're in a crisis, generally they look to cut back on government employment. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre.
Yes,
Good
sir.
afternoon, brother. Pierre.
Go ahead, sir.
This NLP,
I always tell you, I don't know what happening to your phone.
man, listen to me, man.
Okay.
NLP, you know, all over the country, telling people, and the pension is 1 billion. You say, take a look at that. You know I want intention not to pay the pension scheme. He even bring lawyers. He spent $2 million bring lawyers on side to fight the people pay from getting the pension. This is not paid. They are never paid. They will tell you. Fools make money and pay man to spend it. And then he would have never paid the pension. I think you take tax that money and you take lawyers and choose that and pay somebody on the
All right, thank you, caller. You see, that's why I always believe that the political parties use the pension issue as a football. And the pension issue is haunting Deacon now. Because Deacon lied to the public. He told them it's like with the stroke of a pen. He said to them, there is no need for a parallel public service. We're going to have one public service. Deacon lied to the public. He said there is no need for contract. And when Alan Sundry could have acknowledged, because government is the biggest employer in Grenada, and we have a very sluggish private sector, a lazy private sector, a private sector that is not very assertive and doesn't take much risk, the burden always falls on government for employment purposes. When government is strangulated, when they financially embarrassed, the first thing the government do is to go and cut back on employment. Or the government raise taxes. Right now, the minimum threshold at which you could be taxed is $3,000. But if you follow other Caribbean countries, in some of them it is low as $1,200. What did the NDC do? The National Democratic Congress come in and they raised the cost on sugar, water, and electricity. These are basic service, commodities, goods that governments in the past, including the Maurice Bishop government, tried to keep low. Because once these basic goods are kept low, they have more power to argue with the unions and say the cost of living is not that high. And the basket of goods that we have, because this is used in negotiation. But when Deacon raised the price of sugar, practically doubling it, raised the price of water, and raise the price of electricity, automatically, almost all other prices in the country will raise. And Deacon seriously affected the confectionery industry. And he would have put greater weight on employment. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, afternoon.
Yeah.
I remember in the Senate when I think I was Claret was speaking. Andre Lewis said, if you're sleeping and you hear Claret making that statement, you would have believed NMP that was speaking, because the same thing they condemn NMP for. Right? When NMP say you have to put structure in place to pay the pension, because if you don't pay the pension, what is going to happen greater? Right? And the same thing they are condemning NMP for, and the same thing Clyde was saying in the Senate. Right? And NDC paid about 520 something people the pension money. But in 2,500 and something people get pension. So if they pay 500 and something, where the other 2,000 come out from? If you get NFP or paying the pension, NFP paid pension, right? Some say, I do this is distraction, and people and they tell you want to correct you and direct you. Well, I want to say to callers who call it against you, please. If you want to direct and to educate people, speak the truth with them, and don't speak lies. Speak lies. I'm saying, I was saying earlier on, the head cornerstone in a home is the father, right? And if corruption is taking place in a home, there is nowhere at all the father could say he naughty easy children, right? And in cabinet, the prime minister is head of cabinet, and whenever anything going on between a cabinet, in the government, the prime minister knows about it. So if he don't sit down, he say you know about the corruption, he lie. He knows about it, and he give his blessing to that. I always go back and remember what happened to Lacret when Lacret investigated corruption that was taking place in a Latu office. What happened to him? And so the prime minister is the head cornerstone. He give his blessing, he give sanction to the corruption that taking place within the government. So
Thank you, caller. Caller, here is talk about father and home. 60% of the household are led by women. We must never forget that. 60% of the household in Grenada are led by women. I don't believe they're doing a good job. But I believe our government and society should encourage our women to do a better job than they are doing, because the majority of the household are led by women. The Prime Minister of Grenada have to be a political lunatic. What the Prime Minister did, no sensible politician doing that. The Prime Minister come in government, raised his salary by over 300%. And the statements he made that he wouldn't work for that. That if you work for that, you'll get corrupt. The Prime Minister decided to raise the price on sugar, water, and electricity. The government came into office on June 23rd. Election was on the 22nd. By the 5th of July, the government started firing people who they claim was not yellow. Well, if you had an election, and after previously you had less seat than a bicycle in parliament. Today you have 2/3 of the seats in parliament. That means that the majority of people voted for you. What you looking for, who is yellow and who not yellow for? The Prime Minister is vindictive. And I ask this question. This leader they took the leadership from NDC, and he had an evil character in him. And we let that evil grow. The Prime Minister dabbled in their culture. We are a Christian society, it's quite true. Most of us are saltless Christians. But people always shun those who try to evoke the dead. The Prime Minister of Grenada dabbled in their cult. The Prime Minister said morality is a personal thing, a private thing. They came into office on the 23rd. And by the 5th of July, people start losing their jobs. They was firing people because they claimed these people supported NNP. If you remember, I was given an example of a woman who was crying out. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Afternoon. Do we have a price control unit in the ministry?
Yes, we do. But
because I haven't been hearing anything about them. Are they effective? Are they already working?
If you have, yes, they're working. If you have,
okay, good.
If you have supermarkets and things, they will visit you periodically. But there is a lot of things that was not on price control. For instance, sugar was a controlled commodity with zero rating. But they moved sugar out of price control. So they move a lot of things.
Yeah, so what really is under price control right now?
They have a lot of things under price control. They have saltfish, they have some tin stuff, they have cheese, they have soup.
I'm puzzled by that because the fact is that a lot of people you go to the shops today and you pay $5 for it. When you go back tomorrow, you're paying $5.50.
Well, caller, you have to understand that not because something is under price control, the person is going to let me give you an example. Let's say you have a little shop in the rural areas, and you go to a next bigger shop and buy half bag of flour, 16 of mackerel, and you go in the shop and sell it. You wouldn't sell it for the price they sell it for you for. But sometimes the price.
I've been puzzled.
You want me?
Over the years, I've been puzzled.
I thought you wanted some explanation on this thing.
No, I accept your explanation. I say I've been puzzled over the years.
If you go to the bigger supermarkets, you're going to see how the price control is pretty based upon regulation. But if somebody have a little shop in Ticolo and they go and buy 16 a sardine in the shop, remember they buy it at the price they should buy it at. But when they go, they must put a profit on it. They must put something on it to make a profit.
How much they're supposed to put?
Well, how they want? They might put at 25 cents. you notice people doesn't bring up things by 23 and 22 cents. Because 5 cents unit don't count. So if they buy 16, because the people who come in the rum shop say, you have to have sardine, they buy 16 a sardine. It's not to say no sales, you understand?
It's who coming after.
Yes, so,
all right.
And remember.
I accept. Thank you. Go ahead.
So that's the challenge with the price. But when the Prime Minister of Grenada raised the price of sugar, electricity, and water, the Prime Minister practically raised the cost of living. And he did it in a time when you had war in Ukraine and Russia, two of the biggest suppliers of grain and wheat. So the Prime Minister had to be a political lunatic. I had some ingrained evil buried in him. Then he raised his income and salary by 300%. And then he said, okay, well, he realized the enormity and the consequences of what he do. So he raised the daily wage. So as daily wage raised, the union was jumping up, no more additional work. So the people in the agriculture sector who used to work for 3-4 hours for $45, they're working for $60 now, but no more additional work. Now, so if you had somebody working with you, let's say for a year, and you were paying them $60 a day, the person that just come, if you pay them $60 a day, you have to automatically raise the wage of the person who was senior. And you find that in the supermarkets. So the supermarkets go raise the price. Because all of a sudden, they have to pay more wages, they have to pay more electricity, they have to pay more water. So they're going to pass on that increase to you, the consumer. Yes, Scholar, welcome.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, Scholar.
Mr. Pierre, he take a real good shopkeeper now in these days to raise my sweets price by 25 cents. Not even sweets. It's either 50 cents or $1 they going up. You must be real good and have God spirit in you to put 25 cents on a hunting now.
Well, you raise by 25 cents, 40 cents, 50 cents.
Well, I buy me every day I buy and I could tell you, right?
Sometimes the middleman, the shopkeeper sit down waiting. A salesman come. The salesman raise the percentage on you.
Well,
and sometimes what the salesman tell you to sell it for, if you don't have the ability to calculate, you don't make no money.
Well, yes, but let me tell you something. I live in a little village. You don't have the police station though they nearby there. You don't. Them people putting the price to how they want it.
Yes, they put prices to that.
So have a blessed afternoon, Mr.
You see, Deacon is a bandit, and people must recognize that. Throughout our history, no political leader has done what Deacon do. Deacon raised the price of sugar, raised the price of electricity, raised the price of water, and raised his income by 300% as soon as he take office. And then you hear Deacon say he paying money for good relationship. And he started to fire workers who he believes are not real NDC people. So he creates an upsurge in the cost of living. Because the businessman going to make money. So he's going to pass on the cost to the consumer. He may not pass it on the goods that is controlled, but you don't have control on candle, you don't have control on light bulb. He going to pass it on things because he have to make the money. He have to increase in his workers. Then you may see the businessman employing younger workers. Because he want the senior workers that he was there to go. Because he paying them too much and he get younger workers. You have to survive. Some businessmen might lengthen the time that a place is open if they don't have a big staff. Some might cut down on the time that they have. Those that used to give you plastic bag before may cut it out. They're not giving you again. Because they would have saved thousands of dollars in purchasing plastic bags. Those that used to help you and was very generous, they may cut it out. They say, no, the sales is done, so I cannot afford to be generous with the public in giving you things. Then you might see some of them trying to cut down on electricity and etc. So you have to understand that. And this is all governments in the past try to keep the basic commodities down, like milk, sugar, rice, flour, water, and electricity. But Deacon come and raise his cost. When he gave the taxpayers a break. But he removed money from the elderly, the physically challenged, and disadvantaged children. And you notice a lot of the road workers was not getting the part-time work that they used to get. So the Prime Minister of Grenada deliberately contributed to the upsurge in cost of living. And then you sit down listening to how they squander public funds. They're traveling excessively. Imagine one of Deacon's top henchmen but purchased a piece of property for over $1 million, but gave a cash down payment of $100,000 deposit, and threatened to pay the money, the $1 million cash. When you sit down in Grenada today and you hear permanent secretary paying out $15,000 cash to somebody who do a contract, something have to be definitely wrong. Something have to be wrong. You could ignore it, but when you have corruption at the head, it has a rippling effect throughout the country. And I am in Tongan. This is the worst government I've seen for corruption. The government removed the procurement regulation from $15,000. No one could have received a contract for $15,000 or more. You must have biddings. 3 persons must bid and etc. But if it's $15,000, under $15,000, somebody could give you a contract. The government raised the contract to $100,000. And we are hearing on the ground that a minister gave his landlord a contract for $90,000. The landlord called up his partner and he gave him a contract for $50,000. And the partner finished the contract in less than 1 week. Yes, Scholar, punch. Go ahead, Scholar.
When you talk about corruption, you must shut your mouth and listen to the national.
Scholar, what went on in the past, if we want to change this country, and I'm a firm believer that we could change the country. I believe we could make a difference. So if one government did things that was wrong yesterday, it is not a license for another government to do wrong. You have to understand that. If one government make mistake, now this is why I chastise Maurice Bishop so. And I call Maurice Bishop a criminal. Always do that. You will not hear me calling Bishop corrupt. I've never called him corrupt. But I think he was a criminal. Now the mistake and the excesses that Eric Gary make, Maurice Bishop should not make it. The mistakes that Maurice Bishop make, Mr. Blaze and Breezan and them should not make it. The mistakes that the government make, Keith Mitchell should not make it. And the mistakes that Keith Mitchell make, Deacon Mitchell should not make it. You don't have sympathy. You don't look away. When Deacon Mitchell fired the whistleblower in the national lottery, it means that Deacon Mitchell had to be complicit in the corruption that went on in national lottery. And if you like NDC, don't support it. Those of you who claim you all like NDC, encourage them not to do that. Nudge them and encourage them to change. Don't support Deacon to go on public forum and say that the only reason NNP getting help is because we don't know who the real NDC is. And I'm saying that words to the effect. Don't support Deacon for that. Don't support the government to prepare a list so that if Cocoa Association have to provide assistance for the farmers, they have to watch the government list. Don't support Nutmeg Association to provide a list, to have a list from the government, so that if they have to provide assistance on nutmeg farmers, they have to watch to see if you name on the list. Caller, don't support the government so that if somebody have to get a scholarship, they have to look on the list to see if the parents against them. If the parents is NDC. Don't support this thing on them. Don't support Deacon to sneaking into countries without informing foreign affairs. Don't support that. We were on radio and we beg you that if the Prime Minister Andrea St. Bernard and others are selling passport in the CBI program, that's going to be trouble. Because they cannot be chief cook and bottle washer. You ignore us. Don't support Mr. Forrester. That he is the ambassador to the diaspora. He's not supposed to be openly flaunting the NDC party, raising funds for them, running the program, simple, because he's an ambassador for the diaspora. Mr. Forrester is supposed to be active now in finding out those Grenadians that are illegal, that ICE have them. But I guess if the NNP, Jumbi take them. If we continue to support these wrong things, it will come to haunt us. Even if you believe NDC going to stay there for 30 years, it doesn't matter. It's going to come to haunt us back. So I'm appealing to you. We could make a difference in this society. We could change things. You have a right to object and to protect your party and to seek your party interests. But when you find things that are blatantly wrong, like the corruption in National Lottery and in the CBI program, do not support it. But we're back with you again tomorrow. As soon as the clock struck 12, you have an opportunity to pick up the telephone and punch. Thank you very much.
Real FM, ride the frequency. Talking truth, talking change, talking all that's real. With Francis Pierre at the wheel. Politics to faith, the latest trend.